There was once a scientist named Dr. Milk. His idea, a machine that could bring back the consciousnesses of great men and women from beyond the veil of death. The machine didn't work. The vitality ebbed from him until he seemed to live only for streams of cartoon characters playing among us. On a seemingly innocuous plate covered in the remains of a meal partially consumed and left to fester, there blossomed into being something unique. The first being in a new race of self-aware, slime-based life forms. The great tragedy of it all was that the new slimeling wanted only one thing. Dr. Milk had eyes only for his virtual streamers. And then, as is so often the case, there was no time left at all. It seemed the slimeling was doomed to forever live chasing the ghost of his absent creator. He took up the tools laid down by Dr. Milk, and he succeeded. I give you
Dr. Slime's time stream.
Hello everyone, Dr. Tiberius Slime here. I was speaking in the third person in that introduction because I thought it would be more cinematic. Unfortunately, a further thing you should know is that my streaming machine doesn't work as intended. I was hoping to begin the first episode with a big hitter, famous historical figure, maybe have Martin Luther King playing Minecraft or Martin Luther playing SimCity. It doesn't have to be a Martin Luther. It could have been Amelia Earhart playing Call of Duty World at War. It's not important. What is important is that you understand that I cannot select the historical figure. Unfortunately, the device seems to pick people at random from history. And when I first turned it on, I was getting a lot of people speaking a dialect of Chinese, which I believe is no longer used. After doing some statistical research, it turns out about 25% of people who ever lived were Chinese, and 90% of people who ever lived were peasants. So, most of the people I've been getting have been Chinese peasants, and I don't have a translation widget on the streaming device yet. Anyway, this is all rather unnecessary preamble. I just wanted you to know that this is the reason why the first streamer today playing Battle Brothers is a 19-year-old frat boy from America who died in the year 2001. So not exactly the most famous or well-known figure from history, but he's a pretty nice guy. So I hope you enjoy this playthrough of Battle Brothers. What's up, YouTube? Chase Chenoda here. Today I'm going to be playing Battle Brothers, the tactical RPG. I never really played or really was into RPGs when I was alive, because they're more for people who dress as Star Wars characters or Star Trek characters in public. And Phantom Menace was pretty cool. I liked Jar Jar. That dude was funny. He was doing his own thing. But what I'm saying is, if you dressed as a Star Wars character and go out in public, then you might as well permanently retire your penis, dude, because you ain't gonna be needing it anymore. You know what I'm saying? That ain't me. Anyway, the doc wants us playing video games and streaming it, which, from what I understand, means getting people to watch you play the game, which I don't really get because, back in my day, I'd go around my friend Tobias's house and he'd be playing the PS2 and I'd have to sit and watch, and his mom would come in and be like, "Hey, Tobias, are you letting Chase have a go on the PS2? And he'd be like, "Yes, Mom, he's just watching. He's just learning how to play the game. We're both having fun." But we weren't, dude. We weren't both having fun. I wanted to play the game, Tobias. I want to play the game. Tobias, he was a dick, man. But anyway, so I've been I'm kind of trapped in this PC, which some people might consider to be kind of a kind of hell, but it's actually pretty chill. I've been able to catch up on a lot of the stuff I missed since I died.
I haven't watched all the Star Wars movies yet, but I've been told there's a ton, which I'm pretty excited for. I'm looking forward to seeing what happened to Jar Jar, where that kind of character went. But since I've been alive, kind of half life I've had, I've decided to distract myself from like the horror of the situation of being kind of like a ghost in a machine, and I decided to watch like all of the Fast and Furious movies because I really liked the first one. Before I died, me and my bros from Alpha Beta Sigma, we went to see the first one, and it was hella, dude. It was sick. Loved the stunts, loved the dialogue. Dom Toretto, sick, dude. Brian, honestly, kind of a narc, but by the end of the film, he was sick too. Lots of babes. Jordana Brewster, babe. Michelle Rodriguez, babe. Eliza Dushku's a babe. She wasn't in the movie, but, I just thought I'd mention another high-level babe. So I decided I'm going to play through Battle Brothers as a kind of tribute to Fast and Furious, because there's actually a lot of parallels. Both star like a ragtag team of outlaws and criminals who form these deep bonds while taking on dangerous jobs. That's all I can really actually think of right now, but I'm sure there will be more as we go. So let's play some Battle Brothers today. Okay, so Battle Brothers, a little bit about the game. It's set in the past, in like England or France, or one of those countries where they have like kings and dragons and stupid crap like that. I don't know, I'm not really into history. My buddy Tego he was pumped for that Lord of the Rings movie that was coming out. It was about like midgets and World War I. I don't know, not really my kind of thing. So I'm going to be naming my guys after characters from the Fast and the Furious movies. But I have actually been warned that people die a lot in this game, so maybe not Dom. Dom later. Dom, I'm going to get a good guy. Let's see. Let's name him after a more tertiary character, maybe? Let's have a look. Fast and the Furious characters. Who have we got here? Okay, Mia, no. Letty, no. Han, no way, dude. Gotta save Han for later. Monica Fuentes, babe. Ooh, Slapjack. Okay, Slapjack. I remember him from 2. He really do much. What's his nickname gonna be? What did Slapjack do? Okay, back to the internet. What did Slapjack do? Okay, Slapjack was, he represented the racing scene. So he's a race guy. He's a race guy. Okay, cool. So I'm going to try not to restart the game every time one of my dudes dies, just because I think that makes it more intense, more realistic. I know that in the franchise, actually people come back to life quite a lot. I'm going to call this guy Johnny Tran, because I think that also goes into the sort of theme of having your villains become part of the Familia. Johnny Tran did die without ever becoming part of the Familia, but that doesn't mean he can't in Battle Brothers. So, it's kind of nice. We're going our own way with this, which is pretty sweet. I am going to pick up a bunch of dudes who are not yet in the Familia. These guys are not going to get names because there's a good chance they're just there to die, which is ironically a bit more like Owen Shaw's Familia in Fast and Furious 6. They were kind of like a reverse evil Familia because he just like swapped people out like parts in a car or something, which was not chill. Even though I am going to do that, it's not chill. That's another example of a villain who came back later and kind of joined the Familia because Shaw like kind of died in 6, or he was in like a coma, and then he came back in 8 to rescue Dom's son. And even Owen Shaw is the beneficiary of the kind of people coming back to life thing that I was talking about, because, Letty dies in 4, and that's like the whole movie is Dom trying to get revenge for Letty's death, but then it later turns out that she was like, her death was faked, and she joined Owen Shaw's gang. She gets amnesia for a while, and she's evil, but then she becomes good again, so it's kind of a double-hander there. So we're going to get a job. I don't care what the job is, just want the money. Again, I want more than that. He's not going to give me more than that. Okay, we'll take the job. 640 smackaroos. Let's drive. That's not as fast as I thought, but I guess they didn't have cars back then yet. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to get lost in this whole thing of talking about characters dying in Fast and Furious, but, for example, Han. Han's an early character who dies tragically, dies in Tokyo Drift. But then he comes back in Fast 8. He's in a car crash, car blows up, and then in 6, it's revealed that Owen Shaw's brother, bonds of friendship and trust, obviously, it doesn't even require any thought, with a familia. Anyway, it's revealed that in 6, Han was actually deliberately assassinated by master assassin Jason Statham as revenge for putting his brother Owen Shaw in a coma. But then it turns out that Han's death was actually faked. Oh, nice. That was easy. This game is easy. Sweet. All right, let's get another job. Okay, I should read this one, but I'm not going to. Let's get that money. Let's get more of that money. Oh, okay. No, this dude's pissed. Okay, we'll take the money. 200. Okay, we're making more money this time. $70 down, which is pretty cool. We've really found a way to make ourselves astute businessmen. Alright, I'm gonna get some more guys. I want to have a real squad here. I want to have a real team. It's pretty dope to have your boys around you. Back when I was in Alpha Beta Sigma, my boys always had my back. Apart from that time I died. Well, that's actually kind of embarrassing. I just caught that I said Jason Statham when the character's name is Deckard Shaw. Like, how can you forget that? But anyway, it turns out Han wasn't dead either. So Deckard Shaw kind of messed that one up. He whiffed it, basically. Whiffed the assassination. And it turns out they actually faked Han's death to hide him from Deckard Shaw. Anyway, oh look, we're on the trail. Tracking down the enemy just like they did in 6. And there he is. I see you, you thief. Let's take them down, boys. Familia, to arms. Oh, it's Familia, engage. Okay, so I'm gonna try and be tactical here, because it's like Dom said in Fast and Furious 7, this time, it ain't just about being fast. By implication, that would mean it's about also being furious. And it's like, I don't want to second guess Dom and his leadership skills, but I think I'm gonna try and be tactical here. I'm gonna, feel out the enemy, maybe try and draw them out. I feel like we're both gonna size each other up. So let's see how this goes. I'm gonna get my archer to take a shot. Just a ranging shot, see if I can do a little damage, take some health off the enemy. It missed. Okay, don't make him feel bad. It's not good to bring your boys down. Okay, you gotta build him up. Okay, let's move him in. Try and get around the side of this guy. I think he's sending in a scout. Sending in 3 scouts. Okay, he's sending everyone in. Alright then, let's go furious. I mean, that's what Dom's teachings say, the Tao of Toretto. So let's go furious. Alright, okay, not much damage done there. But maybe here. Okay, not much damage done either. No damage. Now we're doing damage. Alright, let's damage some more. Okay. Oh, he's really damaged. Alright, now I'm seeing the allure of being furious. Yeah, there goes his head. Very nice. Very furious. Not so much fast. What? No. No, it can't be. We weren't ready to go our separate ways yet. It's funny how these things... Wait, hang on. Whose head is that? Wait, no, that's another one of my boys? Already? Dude, this is just like when I died in that hazing, which was perfectly safe, but it just got a little out of control. Well, I'm sure that my boys, my homies, went nuts after I died. I mean, there wasn't really anybody to go nuts on. It was kind of our fault. Again, it was a safe hazing. Hazing gets a real bad rap. A lot of the frats get a real bad rap. But anyway, oh, damn. Wow, victory, but tinged with sadness. We lost Eugen and Kurt. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really care about those guys. Maybe that's a little bit Owen Shaw of me rather than Dom Toretto, but there were guys that Dom didn't care about. There were the dudes who... There was that one kind of scrawny dude who died in the first movie. What the hell was his name? I don't remember. Probably like Flap or Squidge or something. I don't know. He was kind of like Mouse from The Matrix, where you didn't really care when he got iced because he was kind of lame. He was a lame guy. Anywho, let's keep going. So I'm just gonna... Let's see how my boys are doing. Okay, we've taken some pretty tough damage. Did not really make enough money from that to justify the deaths of my two guys, Kurt and Vince, or whatever the hell their names were, they will not be forgotten. Like those two Spanish dudes that occasionally show up in the movies, but don't really belong to the Familia. There is a very funny scene where Dom is saying how important everyone is to him in the room in 5. I think it's 5.
Most important thing in life will always be the people in this room.
And those two dudes are just sort of there, you know, and they feel kind of awkward. It's not like, it's not like Giselle. Giselle, I felt, was really part of the crew. She was a villain in 4, who then came to join the crew, and her and Han had kind of a relationship going. It was kind of cute, And then, unfortunately, Giselle fell off, I think, a plane onto the runway at, I don't know how fast planes go when they're preparing to take off. I assume pretty fast. So we all kind of thought she was really dead for a bunch of movies. And I'm assuming Han thought she was dead too, because he got super depressed and went to Tokyo to drift with a bunch of suspiciously mature looking high schoolers. Which again is odd when you consider Han's age. But these high schoolers, they looked old, man. I mean, they looked older than they reasonably should have. Regardless, Han goes to Japan, I guess without checking to see if Giselle's alive. But she was alive. She comes back in Fast X, and she has her own nuclear submarine, which is pretty chill. No girlfriend I ever had a nuclear submarine. I'm gonna buy some more boys, and I don't mean that in sounds kind of, well, I'm gonna buy more boys. Damn, bro, do I suck at negotiating? Okay, well, 500 and something crowns is pretty good. Considering the amount we've made previous to this, it's not the worst thing ever, so let's see what we can do now. We gotta go, I guess, to this graveyard. Again, didn't really read what he was saying, but, hang on. Let's check the status of my boys. Okay, I still got a couple guys who aren't looking too good. Don't want to take them into the fight. My buddy Josh, one time, we were playing against Forest U, which is not a real university. It was some dudes who live in the forest outside of our college campus. And we decided one day we'd play them in a game. But the night before the game, my buddy Joshua, he drank an entire keg of Miller Lite, which actually has a very low alcohol content. So he wasn't alcohol poisoned, but we did drop the keg on his foot and he crushed his foot, which turns out makes it really hard to play ball. So we had to kind of forfeit the game the next day. But what I would have done is had Josh heal up for maybe a day or two, just so the foot wasn't as swollen, and then we probably would have crushed Forest U, because those guys were pretty malnourished. They were weird dudes. I think they were all related. Oh my god, I'm running out of food. Okay, we gotta head back. We gotta go get food. Oh my god, are my guys gonna starve to death? Alright, we gotta go. My boys they need chow, dude. Your boys need chow. You gotta make sure you're eating plenty of protein. Let's see. I hope you like grain and bread. Yeah, grain and bread. Sorry, boys, no luxuries just yet, but after we hit the big one, after we do this big score, a lot of the movies have a scene where, everyone will sit around the table and they'll have a big sort of familia feast and a lot of Coronas. Okay, grave diggers. Alright, nice. Oh, you can't see these guys. They're probably hiding. We must be pretty notorious right now. Oh, that is some pretty dope gear. They're a lot better equipped than my guys, but that's okay because Owen Shaw's gang was pretty high tech. Have an arrow, dude. Alright, well, it's gonna get better from there. I feel like it's gonna get better from there. Let's hit it. Come on, guys. Fight back. Fight back. We can do it. No! Another boy down. Wait, hang on. I wasn't finished mourning yet. No. Not all my guys. Come on. Get out of there. 2 left. Get out, guys. We gotta run away. Come back for another day. Sometimes the familia. Sometimes it's just time to drive. Fast rather than furious. Oh no. Wait a minute. I recognize this scene. It all seems lost. All hope gone. Until the familia abides. Okay, this is the moment that dreams are made of, dude. We're down in the final quarter. And I think I've just found my Dom and my Brian. Two brothers from different perspectives, different sides of the tracks who come together. Oh, God, no, they're dead. They're both dead. Well, that was my first attempt at Battle Brothers.